The camera opens to darkness. A faint echo fills the air, like the sound of chains rattling in the distance, followed by the low hum of fire crackling against stone walls. Slowly, a dim orange glow begins to cut through the shadows. It comes from flaming torches mounted along the sides of a towering Gothic hall, their light flickering across broken pillars and cracked stone floors. The entire scene feels ancient, cursed, and alive with an invisible dread. As the torches burn, the light reveals a vast chamber, its ceiling stretching high above, disappearing into darkness. The walls are carved with runes, faded by centuries, but still radiating a sinister presence. The atmosphere is thick, heavy, as though the very air carries the weight of countless forgotten souls. This is no ordinary dungeon. This is a place built for torment, a cathedral of suffering where even whispers feel too loud. And then the camera shifts. There she is, a figure in the middle of the chamber, surrounded by a pit of spikes, each sharpened to a deadly point. She sits among them, her pale, bluish skin glowing faintly against the dim light. Her long, silver hair cascades down her shoulders, matted with dirt and sweat, yet it still shines like strands of moonlight. Her outfit, a torn but striking purple garment, clings to her form, suggesting both elegance and vulnerability. Golden bracelets and mystical ornaments rest on her wrists, symbols of power that now feel more like chains than treasures. Her breathing is heavy. Each inhale sounds like a struggle, each exhale a cry of defiance. She places her trembling hand on one of the spikes, steadying herself, though the sharp edges cut against her skin. A faint trace of blood slides down her arm, glowing unnaturally, as if even her wounds carry magic. Her eyes open slowly, glowing, haunted, but unbroken. She looks forward, not with despair, but with determination. The silence breaks again. From the shadows at the far end of the hall, movement stirs. Figures in blackened armor emerge, their faces hidden beneath spiked helmets. They walk with slow, deliberate steps, their boots striking the stone floor like war drums. Each of them carries a torch, and with every flicker of flame, their twisted armor glimmers in shades of gold and black. These are not ordinary soldiers. They are guardians of the dungeon, enforcers of the curse that binds this place. But for now, they stay back, watching. They don't attack. They don't speak. They simply observe her, like predators circling a wounded prey, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The camera zooms in on the woman again. Her lips part slightly as though she's whispering something, perhaps a prayer, perhaps a spell, or maybe just a promise to herself. The faintest glow surrounds her fingertips, a suggestion that she is no ordinary prisoner. She is someone powerful, someone who once stood above kingdoms, someone who does not belong in chains. Yet here she is, broken but not defeated. The spikes around her glisten under the torchlight, every one of them a reminder that escape could mean death at the slightest wrong move. The danger is real, immediate, suffocating. Yet the camera lingers on her eyes, showing not fear, but defiance. And just when the silence feels unbearable, there's a distant roar. The sound reverberates through the stone hall, shaking dust from the ceiling. The armored figures shift uneasily, but the woman does not flinch. Her eyes sharpen, her breath steadies. She knows what's coming, and she knows her time is running out. The music swells, dark, epic, pulsing with dread. The audience is pulled closer into the scene, caught between fear for her survival and awe at her resilience. Will she summon her strength and fight back, or will the dungeon claim her as it has countless others before her? The hook is set. The world feels alive, dangerous, and merciless. And at the center of it all is the mysterious woman in purple, caught in a trap that could either destroy her or unleash the very power her enemies fear the most. The woman in the pit of spikes is not an ordinary prisoner. Every detail of her presence, from the way she holds herself to the faint glow of her skin, tells a story of power, of a destiny that extends far beyond this cursed dungeon. Who is she? Why is she here? And how could someone with such strength be brought so low? Long before this moment, before chains and shadows, her name was spoken with reverence across kingdoms. She was known as a queen, a sorceress, a protector of realms, depending on who you asked. To some, she was a savior who wielded magic with compassion. To others, she was a dangerous enigma, a wielder of powers too ancient and too wild to be trusted. Legends whispered that her bloodline carried the essence of forgotten gods, a gift, or perhaps a curse, that set her apart from mortals. Her appearance alone tells of her otherworldly nature. The silver strands of her hair flow like liquid moonlight, untouched by time. Her eyes, glowing faintly even in the dim light, are not the eyes of a mere human. They carry centuries of wisdom, sorrow, and unspoken wrath. Her skin, pale with a bluish hue, shimmers faintly when touched by firelight, as if woven with threads of starlight. She is not from this world entirely. She is something in between, a bridge between the mortal and the divine. The purple garment she wears, now torn and dirt-stained, once belonged to the ceremonial attire of her people. The fabric was spun with enchanted threads, meant to resist both time and decay. But here, in this place of torment, even her garments could not protect her. The golden ornaments on her wrists and neck glimmer faintly, etched with runes that pulse like a heartbeat. They are not mere decorations, they are seals, restraints, crafted to suppress her true power. Whoever placed her here knew exactly what she was capable of, and they feared it enough to bind her magic with chains of gold. But even in her weakened state, her presence demands attention. The armored soldiers surrounding her keep their distance, their torches raised, as though they know approaching her too closely would invite danger. There is a silent tension in the air, a recognition of her identity. They are not simply guarding a prisoner. They are guarding a storm. Her mind, though clouded with pain, races through fragments of memory. She recalls standing at the head of armies, her voice commanding legions, her magic shaping the battlefield. She remembers the light of her homeland, a place of beauty and harmony, now lost to shadows. She remembers betrayal, the sting of it sharper than any blade. Someone she trusted, someone close, had turned against her. That betrayal led her here, to this dungeon, to this pit of spikes. Her hand trembles as she touches the wound on her arm, the blood glowing faintly. Even her injuries defy the natural order, shimmering with energy. She clenches her fist, as though reminding herself that she is not broken yet. Pain, after all, is temporary. Power, when awakened, is eternal. The camera lingers on her face, capturing the mix of exhaustion and defiance in her expression. She is battered, but her spirit is unyielding. Every breath she takes is an act of rebellion, a refusal to submit to the darkness around her. Whispers echo through the hall. It is unclear whether they are real voices or simply the memories of those who once inhabited this cursed place. But she hears them nonetheless, voices that call her by name, voices that warn her of the fate that awaits. Some beg her to rise, to fight back. Others laugh, mocking her fall from grace. Her eyes close for a moment, and in that silence, she steadies herself. The truth is clear. She is not merely a victim trapped in spikes. She is the key to something far greater. Her captors know it, the soldiers know it, and deep inside, she knows it too. The runes on her golden restraints glow faintly, resisting her every attempt to summon power. But there is a crack, a weakness in the enchantment, and she feels it. The soldiers shift uneasily again, as if sensing the tension rising. She lifts her head, her glowing eyes locking onto them. In that instant, the atmosphere changes. For a moment, the dungeon itself seems to hold its breath. She may be wounded, she may be chained, but she is not defeated. The mysterious woman in purple is far more than a prisoner. She is a storm waiting to be unleashed. And when she rises, the world will tremble. The Pit of Spikes is no ordinary prison. It is a masterpiece of cruelty, crafted not just to kill, but to break the spirit of anyone who falls within it. The air here smells of rust and blood, the metallic scent of death lingering in every breath. Each spike rises like the fang of some colossal beast, sharpened to a perfect point, glistening faintly under the torchlight. They are arranged with precision, designed so that even the slightest movement could mean impalement. To remain still is agony. To move is suicide. The woman shifts slightly, her hand brushing against the jagged steel. A sharp sting cuts across her palm, and a droplet of blood falls, only to vanish as it touches the spike, absorbed instantly. The steel itself seems to drink her life force, feeding on her pain. This is no simple iron. It is forged with dark enchantments, cursed to weaken its victims slowly, draining their strength with every contact. She inhales sharply, the pain evident, but she does not cry out. Instead, her glowing eyes narrow, as if she understands what she is dealing with. This trap was not meant for ordinary mortals. It was made for someone like her, for beings of power, for creatures who needed more than chains to be subdued. The camera pans outward, showing the full extent of the pit. The spikes stretch in every direction, leaving no path to escape. The ground beneath them is not solid stone, but shifting sand, designed to give way under any attempt to leap or crawl out. The walls around the pit are carved with runes, glowing faintly, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. They are siphoning her magic, ensuring she cannot simply summon her strength and break free. A faint whisper fills the chamber, carried on the wind like a cruel taunt. It is the voice of the dungeon itself, ancient and merciless. Struggle, it seems to say. Struggle and bleed. Her breath quickens, but not from fear, from calculation. Every trap has a flaw. She scans the spikes carefully, noticing the way some glisten brighter than others. Some are older, duller, worn from centuries of victims who came before her. There may be a path, dangerous, nearly impossible, but still a path. The camera zooms in on her face as sweat drips down her forehead. The soldiers in the shadows continue to watch, silent, as though they too are testing her. Perhaps this is part of their cruel design, to see how long she can endure before the spikes claim her completely. The woman slowly presses her hand to the spike nearest to her. Blood seeps from her palm, glowing faintly, absorbed into the steel. Her eyes close, and for a moment her magic pulses small, faint, but enough to feel the enchantments inside the metal. Yes, the spikes are alive, drinking her strength. But life, even cursed life, can be manipulated. She exhales slowly, forcing her body to relax despite the unbearable discomfort. She shifts slightly, her leg brushing dangerously close to another spike. The sound of fabric tearing echoes through the chamber, but she manages to avoid impalement by mere inches. Every movement is a gamble, a balance between pain and death. The dungeon seems to respond. The torches flicker violently, the air grows heavier, and the whispering voices rise into a mocking chorus. The spikes glisten brighter, as if eager, hungry for more of her blood. For the audience, the tension is suffocating. Each second feels stretched, every movement a question of survival. Will she fall? Will she bleed out? Or will she find the flaw in the trap and turn it against her captors? Her glowing eyes snap open again, sharper now, more determined. The whispers do not silence her, they fuel her. She presses her bloodied hand against one of the spikes with purpose this time, her magic coursing through the cursed metal. The spike shudders, faintly resisting, but something inside it wavers. A crack, nearly invisible, glows faintly in response. Yes, there is a weakness. The soldiers shift uneasily, sensing the change. One takes a step forward, his torchlight casting a longer shadow across the pit. The woman lifts her head and locks eyes with him. In that instant, the atmosphere changes. She is no longer the victim. She is the predator testing her cage. The deadly trap is still around her, still hungry, still merciless, but it no longer feels invincible. It is a prison of pain, yes, but also a puzzle. And she has begun to understand its secrets. The spikes hum softly, as though alive with anticipation. The dungeon wants her to fail, but she has no intention of giving it what it wants. This is not just survival anymore. This is war. The pit is silent no longer. The whispers of the cursed spikes fade into the background as the sound of armored boots grows louder, echoing through the vast chamber. The soldiers who lingered in the shadows begin to step forward, their torches illuminating their monstrous figures, one by one. They are not like ordinary men. Their armor is forged of blackened steel, jagged and cruel, designed not for defense, but for intimidation. Rust and dried blood stain their breastplates, as though they have never been cleaned. Each helmet bears horns or spikes, twisted into grotesque shapes that give them the look of demons rather than men. Their eyes are hidden, yet from within the slits of their helmets, faint red glows flicker, like embers burning in an endless night. There are 6 of them. They march slowly, deliberately, circling the pit, like vultures waiting for their prey to collapse. The torches they carry cast long shadows across the walls, transforming the runes into writhing shapes, as if the very dungeon itself is alive and mocking. With every step they take, the woman's prison grows smaller, her world closing in. She watches them carefully, her glowing eyes narrowing with defiance. She knows what they are, sentinels of the dungeon, guardians of the curse. They are not alive in the way mortals are. Their bodies may still carry flesh and bone, but their souls have long since been consumed, hollowed out by the dark magic that binds this place. They are husks, servants to an unseen master, driven only by the will to ensure no prisoner ever escapes. The leader among them steps closer. His armor is heavier, adorned with jagged spikes across the shoulders, his helm crowned with twisted horns. In one hand he carries a halberd, its blade stained and glowing faintly with enchantments. He stops at the edge of the pit and lowers his torch, letting the firelight fall directly onto the woman's face. For a moment, the scene is frozen. Her silver hair glimmers against the orange glow, her torn purple garment clinging to her battered form, her eyes meeting his without fear. The silence between them is deafening. And then, with a guttural metallic rasp, he speaks. "You do not belong here." The voice is deep, hollow, like iron grinding against stone. It is not spoken in any mortal tongue, yet she understands it perfectly. Her lips curl into the faintest smile. "Neither do you." The soldiers shift uneasily at her words, their armor creaking in unison. It is a small defiance, but one that cracks the tension like lightning in a storm. The leader raises his halberd slightly, its blade glinting. "You will not leave this place. The spikes will drink your strength. The walls will steal your magic. When you are nothing, we will deliver what remains to the Master." The Master. The word hangs heavy in the air, thick with dread. She does not need to ask who it is. They speak of the one who betrayed her, the one who orchestrated her fall. The very thought of it fuels her resolve, setting her blood alight with fury. Her eyes glow brighter now, defiant, daring them to step closer. "If your master wants me," she says, her voice sharp as steel, "then he should come himself." The soldiers do not react to her taunt. They remain still, like statues of iron, though the firelight dances across their armor, making them look alive with rage. The leader tilts his head slightly, as though measuring her. Meanwhile, the pit hums again. The spikes glow faintly, feeding on her energy, reacting to the soldiers' presence. The trap and the guardians are bound together, working in harmony to ensure her fate is sealed. The audience watching this scene can feel the tension coil tighter, every second heavier than the last. She is trapped between two evils, the pit below and the armored monsters above. Yet she does not waver. Instead, she leans forward slightly, her hands gripping the spikes despite the blood that trickles down her palms. Her glowing eyes sweep across the circle of soldiers, her voice low but steady. "Come closer," she whispers. "See what happens." The torches flicker violently, the chamber trembling as though the dungeon itself recoils from her words. The soldiers remain motionless, but their silence is not strength, it is hesitation. Deep within their hollow husks, even they feel the danger of what she truly is. The leader slams his halberd against the stone floor, the sound echoing like thunder. "Resist all you wish," he growls. "This place always wins." But as the camera closes in on her bloodied hand pressing against the spike, the faint crack of light growing within it, one truth becomes clear. The dungeon has never faced someone like her. The surrounding threat is real, suffocating, overwhelming. Yet for the first time, it feels as though the predators may not be the only danger in the room. The dungeon holds its breath. The soldiers stand at the edge of the pit, their torches flickering like dying stars. The spikes below hum with a sinister energy, their cursed steel eager to taste more blood. And in the center of it all, the woman remains, bleeding, battered, but unbroken. Her glowing eyes cut through the shadows, fixed not on her captors, but on the invisible chains that bind her. She can feel it now. The restraints on her wrists, once unyielding, have weakened. The golden runes that suppress her power flicker, faint cracks forming where her blood has stained them. Each drop of blood that fell onto the spikes has not been lost. It has been absorbed, cycling back into her, twisted by the dungeon's curse. But curses can be turned. Poison can become medicine. A trap can become a weapon. Her breathing steadies. Slowly, deliberately, she presses her palm against the spike again. Pain sears through her flesh, but she does not flinch. The cursed steel vibrates under her touch, glowing faintly, struggling against her will. She closes her eyes, summoning the remnants of her strength, and whispers words older than the dungeon itself. Words of binding, words of defiance. The soldiers notice immediately. Their armor rattles as they shift uneasily. The leader raises his halberd, the red glow of his eyes burning brighter. "Enough," he growls. "Do not test us." But it is too late. The spike beneath her hand cracks, hairline fractures glowing with blinding light. The sound is deafening, like the scream of a dying beast. The entire pit trembles violently, dust cascading from the high ceiling. The torches flicker madly, shadows twisting like serpents along the walls. Her eyes snap open, blazing like fire. For a moment, her entire body glows, her veins alight with raw energy. The spikes around her shudder, some bending slightly, others cracking under the strain. The dungeon roars in protest, a guttural, inhuman sound that shakes the very stones. The soldiers recoil. For the first time, their composure breaks. They step back, forming a defensive stance, their weapons raised. The leader slams his halberd into the ground, summoning chains of shadow that writhe across the pit, desperate to restrain her again. She screams, not in pain, but in fury. The sound reverberates like thunder, a declaration of war against the dungeon itself. The cracks spread, light pouring from the spikes, as though something ancient and unstoppable has been awakened. And then silence. The light fades, leaving only the dim glow of torches. The soldiers freeze, weapons trembling in their grip. The spikes remain intact, though fractured. The woman slumps forward, exhausted, her breathing ragged. Her attempt was powerful, but incomplete. The trap still holds her. The dungeon still lives. The leader lowers his weapon, a hollow laugh echoing through his helm. "You are strong," he admits, his voice cold. "But strength is not enough. This place has broken gods. It will break you." Her head lifts slowly, her glowing eyes locking on his once more. And though her body trembles, though her wounds burn, her voice is steady. Then let it try. The screen cuts to black, but just before the darkness consumes everything, a single sound breaks through. The faintest crack of a spike, giving way, glowing brighter than before. The cliffhanger lingers. The audience is left with questions that burn like fire in their minds. Has she truly begun to break the dungeon's curse? Can she turn the deadly trap into a weapon against her captors? Who is the master that waits beyond these walls? And why does he fear her so much? And most of all, will she survive long enough to rise again? The tension hangs like a blade in the air, sharp and unyielding. The woman is not free, not yet. But for the first time, the dungeon itself seems afraid. The story does not end here. It cannot. The battle has only begun.